Well, I'm back out here again this morning. I'm gonna eventually get the rest of that stuff hauled back to the back. It has rained some, but not an extreme amount. I'm hoping that all this powdery dirt just soaks it up. But what I think I'm gonna do this morning, instead of hauling all this brush to the back, it's just gonna be very time consuming and burn a lot of unnecessary diesel fuel. I didn't know how the weather was gonna work out, so that was my plan. That's why I put it all over here. But I think I'm gonna grab some of that pile right there that's got that small stuff in it and put it right here. And I think I'm just gonna do a little, I know it's hard for me to say this, but a little fire of like a dump truck load at the time or something. If I can just go over there every 20-30 minutes and throw 4 or 5 grapplefuls on it while I'm working, that should burn everything down nicely. And like that pile of stumps over there, I'll haul that to the back, just because that's going to take a long time to burn. But all that little small brush and everything, that should burn up relatively quickly. And it's rained enough where I think all the pine straw and everything's wet enough where it won't catch on fire, and I may end up hauling that or burn it. It's kind of whatever it is, but I really need to get all this gone right here, so I might actually focus on maybe like grabbing that pile and burning it, and along with that stuff over there as well. But I know that pile right there has been there the longest and it's pretty dry, so let me get a few grapplefuls with the excavator and see if I can get a little fire started. Well, I think this stuff's going to burn. I literally threw my breakfast paper bag on there and about a gallon of diesel fuel. I don't think I'm gonna have a problem getting rid of this small stuff today. Well, if everything goes as planned, I'll get this small stuff burned up and finish getting the stumps hauled to the back. Well, we all know it's hard for me to build a small fire, so it's very hard for me not just to grab all this and start chunking it on there, but I kind of got to keep this civilized up here. It's not super wet. There are houses nearby, so I'll just keep putting a couple grapplefuls on it here and there, and it should just really start disappearing, I would hope. Fire's been going for about 15 minutes and I've already put about 10 grapplefuls on it, so I think it's going to burn down relatively quickly today. Just kind of keep laying some beside it and it'll just kind of spread over into it. Alright, well, I got those logs separated. I'm going to go over here now and finish loading out that where the off-road truck is and haul that to the back. Probably throw some more on here and maybe load up that load of stumps. Alright, so this is the last pine tree to come down, and I saved the trickiest one for last because the new power line they put in, for some reason they put it like 3 foot from the other side of the root ball. So I'm hoping that when they put it in that they cut all the roots on that side, and hopefully if I pivot it that way it shouldn't pull anything out. One would hope. I'm going to dig around it real good on this side, and hopefully it should ease right on over. This way, I don't see any power wires, so all is good. just gonna have to stay. I'm not gonna risk it. Alright, well I am going to go and dump that second load of brush, come back and get another load from right here. Well, I gotta cut all this stuff up first. May go ahead and do that. Get this cleaned up. Maybe throw a couple more grapplefuls of brush on the fire. And this is pretty well going to be cleaned up. I still got 3 stumps out there by the road to dig up. And then I'll blade over this with the dozer before it rains anymore. And just keep working on burning brush and hauling stumps to the back. Track this over here where I got plenty of room out of the way. Alright, I can handle that from here. Looks like we're about ready for another grapple full of brush. Fire's burning down nicely. Got a load in the dump truck. I want to see if hopefully I can make it to the back. If I can't, it's going to be a problem because it's only wide enough for one vehicle to go down. Let's see what happens. Here's the worst spot. Going for it. So far so good. This old orange clay gets really slick. So I came down here yesterday and dumped 2 loads of dirt over top of the culvert pipes just to add a little more protection over them. I'm not quite ready to take them out. I don't know if I'm gonna have to take them out. Depends on how the skid road goes, if they can go around it. But if they got to skid all this wood across it, I'll probably take them out so they don't get damaged as much as freaking pipe costs now. But we shall see. Backing all this up over here and dumping it out, and I'll just have another fire pile back here once I start clearing out the area beside the pond there, or where the pond's going to go. I guess beside it, the shoreline, whatever. It'll be right here and I can just grab it and chunk it on. So I'm gonna burn what I can up there today, and between hauling today and burning, I really hope to get that cleaned up there. Should go pretty good today, I think. Let's do it again. Well, I got all the brush moved from up there. Fire's still burning down pretty good. I'm gonna go ahead and load these stumps up. I think we got some more rain coming this afternoon, but I know these stumps are probably the heaviest stuff to haul. Get this cleaned up, get that wood stacked up, throw some more on the fire, and probably focus on that big pile of stumps up there once I get this cleared up enough where I can back the truck right up through there. stumps on this truck. But I think that'll stay put. Come out and get one more load and then stack the fire up, and then I can work on the other stump pile. I'll probably come back, load up some stumps, and then stack the fire up. That way it can burn down a little bit before I venture up there. Okie dokie. Let's go dump that out. Well, I have to admit the fire has burnt this stuff really well. It's just very hard for me to keep a small fire. I want to throw it all on there and get rid of it at once, but what I'm doing seems to be working pretty well and isn't really causing any issues. Very minimal smoke, and not a whole lot of ashes flying every which way, so it is knocking a dent in it. I've almost gotten rid of this whole pile right here and a good part of that pile up there by the road. It's a lot easier than having to load it all into the truck and move it to the back one load at a time. And kind of rake it out. It's got all that dust and dirt in it. That's the only problem when you clear when it's really dry, is everything turns to kind of a powder, and then it just easily gets mixed in. But then once it rains on it, it kind of turns into mud. Pine trees are aggravating to burn anyways, just because there's so many pine needles. Got to get a little bit of it, put it on in different spots. As you can tell, it smokes for a good little bit, a fair amount, and then once it burns through it, it kind of clears up. Gotta get the dirt out I can. I'll just kind of put this towards the bottom, and it'll spread over into it as it dries out. Burns a little more. Alright, well, let me rake through this. I'm going to stack those logs up and then probably go ahead and load out these stumps behind me. So the fire has burnt down pretty good. I went and got lunch, came back. The rain we were supposed to get this afternoon does not look like it's coming. Or if it is, it's going to have to form, because the radar looks mighty empty. So I'm going to keep putting it on here because the wind is blowing back this way and there's really nothing back this way to set on fire. So might might as well burn some more, but I'm not gonna really stack it on there, just a few grapplefulls and let it die down and stack it up again. My goal now is to get rid of this pile right here, because this is in the way of the logging deck. The other stuff is kind of against the edge now, not really in the way too much. hop on the dozer and go grade some things out, and I'll come back. That should be burnt down enough where I can put probably one more grapple or one more cycle of put brush on it. Well, getting everything fueled up and everything greased up. Getting slowly getting this wrapped up. It didn't never rain today, so I got all that cleaned up. The trees and that I took down yesterday, all those hauled back there, and the brush, and kind of bladed over at the dozer. I got all that junk right there. What I'm going to end up doing is once this fire goes out, I still want to finish burning that right there, but it's dry again, so I don't want to set all that on fire. So I'm just going to kind of let that die down, but just kind of slowly putting stuff on. It's been pretty calm today, so haven't really had any problems, and the wind's kind of been going right directly through here, so if it did set anything on fire, it'd just be that little bit right there. But that should kind of burn on down. I was going to take all that dirt and stuff and push it over here and mix it in with the ashes so that I could clean that up, because this is kind of right in the middle of the log deck area. But hopefully we'll get some more rain tonight, and I can come over here tomorrow and finish burning. I want to burn that right there. That'll pretty much be all of this, even if I move the pile over some. I can even work on maybe cleaning this pile up a little bit. But yeah, coming along slow but steadily. Well, the headlights are on for a reason. It came a rain shower right before dark last night, so I ran back over here and threw about half of that pile on the fire and a few grapplefuls from that other one. Looks like we got a little bit more rain last night, not a tremendous amount, but it's enough where all the pine straw is wet down. I'm gonna go ahead and rake through that pile right there. I'm probably gonna move it down just a little bit so I can start raking through those ashes and cooling them off, because I do have to clean all that up before the loggers get here. See if I can get that pile burnt and what's left over there down the tree line. That over there, I'm probably just gonna wait and take it out back and burn it. Once I get all that cut, it won't be that far to drag that. So let's get started. All right, I'm gonna move this ash pile. Well, not move the ash pile, but the stuff that hasn't burnt over, and get another fire started right here. That way I can start raking through these ashes and getting them cooled off and mixing dirt in with them, and possibly go ahead and hollow them to the back. Haven't got that far yet. Really just focused on trying to get this stuff burned up today while the weather is right. In worst case, I can always just go and mix some dirt in with this and push it over there to the side. Decided to burn some yesterday. That really got rid of a fair amount of this stuff. Just put me that much farther along today. So like normal, that stuff doesn't look like it's going to catch back on fire, but just let it sit there for a little bit, get some air to it, it'll take right off. It's weird how all this stuff just kind of gets buried into the ashes, but it does, and I guess it just kind of smothers it out and it just starts charring itself once you get it exposed to air. It'll normally catch back on fire pretty quickly. Give me a few more minutes to finish raking through this, and then I'm probably going to go over there and grab some of that dry material and start laying it on there. I think it's going to be caught on fire by then. It won't take long. It won't take long at all. I see a few flames in there. Just keep picking out this stuff right here and putting it all in a little pile. It'll go to town here shortly. Well, that didn't take long to get back going. Literally by the time I drove around and raked through this a couple times, it was burning nicely. So I'm gonna pull away because that is actually very hot right there. And lay a little of this material on there, go over there and get that pile that I really need out of the way, burn it. So before I left yesterday, I did move this pile over one time, just to get it a little bit closer and facing the right direction. So those ashes are burning down everything that's Got a little more life left in it to burn. And just laying this stuff on the fire and letting it burn on down. Luckily there's no wind this morning. Everything's going right straight up in the sky. Very little smoke. I want to get this stuff burn up before the sun comes up because it's going to dry out pretty quick today. It's supposed to be in the 80s, I think. You don't really get a whole lot of embers once it burns down to a pile of coals like that, but when you're feeding it like this right here, it does kick off a lot of embers. Cleaned up and logs starting to be drug up here. After today, I'm pretty much at a standstill until they start cutting trees. So the next thing I'm going to start doing is stumping all the stumps from all the trees that they're going to cut down, getting all that stuff dug up and piled into piles. So I'm probably going to burn some here and then go over where the D6 is and try to get as much as I can done over there. I'm about getting to a stopping point there because I'm going to bring the 6 over here, because all said and done I got about probably 15 acres to stump here, and it's going to be more beneficial to have that here. And I'm getting to a good stopping point at the other project, and I can leave on that for a little while. Alright, well, I'm going to let that die down and break through this a little more and stack some more on. It's burning nice and clean now. I stacked some of that green stuff on there while the fire was nice and hot so that it would burn up better. I'm going to let that die down a little bit, come back and stack what's left of that pile on there and probably half of that one. So it's starting to clean up pretty good now, and all of this one is gone. I'll take the dozer and push all this stuff over here when I clean the ashes up. Just kind of mix all this pine straw and roots and sticks in there with it. Dusty equipment with the light drizzle on it. Oh, makes a mess. Well, that ought to burn down pretty good. I'm gonna go get a tank of fuel while that burns down, and then I'll come back. Probably take about an hour. And I'm gonna grab what's left of all that stuff right there and lay it on there. Kind of just keep moving the fire pile back. I've raked those ashes out so I can take the dozer and push this stuff over here on top of it and just kind of mix it all in and get rid of this stuff. But the shop lot slash logging deck is shaping up. Well, it was almost an hour. We got some fuel and that burnt down decent. I'm gonna stack some more stuff on there and probably jump on the dozer and push that stuff over here and put it over those ashes and get burnt what I can today. Even if I don't get all that burnt, I'm happy with what I have burnt though. I've got enough out of the way now that I'm not in the way of the loggers. Well, I'm stacking on what's left of these piles right here. Seems to be burning down pretty good. We'll grab this and put it on there and probably jump on the dozer and push that stuff over here and give it a few minutes to die down a little bit before I get a couple more big grapplefuls and put on there. Just wish we would have got a rain shower, but it hasn't happened. I think I'm good. Wind's blowing back that way, but still. I like to err on the side of caution when I'm burning. Just makes me feel better if I know it's wet outside. That's gonna smoke a lot. There's a lot of pine straw in that. Most of all this will end up getting put in probably one of the borrow pits that I dig when I get the clay for the new pond dam. Pretty good. All that's left is really that pile right here behind me. So the rest of that stuff over there, I'm just gonna take it right around the corner once they cut the trees and just burn it over there. Just trying to get them as much room here as I can. They're gonna have, 15 acres worth of tops to drag into one spot, so I'm hoping to get over here as soon as they start cutting over there and stump an area so that they can drag all the treetops to a dedicated spot, and it won't be on top of a half acre's worth of stuff, because that's not fun digging through all this mess to find tree stumps. I said I was going to let that burn down, but you see how well that's working, don't you? Like, get it done and be done with it. If I pile it up right here, it'll just slowly spread over into it, I think. Maybe. If not, it'll dry it out faster. This stuff right here is pretty green. It's literally the last stuff I just took down, so the moisture content's a little higher in this stuff. If I put it right here beside this pile, the radiant heat will start drying it out. One more, and that's all I'm going to put on there. Okay, that's enough. Well, everything is in the burn pile now. Letting that simmer on down. We'll let that burn down for 3 or 4 hours. I'll come back over here this evening and run around it and get all the stuff along the edges that didn't burn piled back up so it'll burn down tonight. Maybe rake some more ashes out, and then maybe it'll rain and soak up some moisture. I'll push all this dirt in there, and I'll probably just haul this stuff back there to the back and get rid of it. So probably about 5 dump truck loads. Well, 6 hours later, that's all that's left of the pile. I'm gonna move all these stumps. I'm gonna move them over this way, a little farther away from the woods. Start another little pile right here, and hopefully it'll be okay. And then try to rake those ashes out so they'll cool off, kind of like I did right there, so that in the next couple of days I can come over here and push all this up and get rid of it. Well, I got everything stacked back up, and it's burning pretty good. Kind of raked those ashes down a little bit, flung some dirt over those. Unfortunately, the dirt's about as dry as the ashes, so it's not really going to soak up a whole lot of moisture. Almost need to throw a sprinkler on it, but that's not very practical. Let me rake this little area right here that's catching on fire and let this just die down tonight.